Hello, everyone. Actually, this is so exciting because normally when I give speeches, it's very serious. So I also have this obligation to entertain you and not to get bored about my story. Before giving some details about myself, maybe would be nice to let you know actually how I knew about this event at all, and my first experience, which was really, now it's funny, but at that moment was also very, very hard moment for me. And probably most of you were here at that time. And I was out crying at that moment. So the first time that when I decided to move to Sofia, and then I'll tell you about my decision and everything, that was like 3 months ago. Of course, I never lived in this city, so wherever you go for the first time, it doesn't matter if it's the same country. For you, it's a new place, so you're a foreigner there. So I started with foreigners, and I started looking for some Facebook groups where I can find people that share something about their experiences. And this event was one of the first I found, and that moment I started working for the Turkish program at the Bulgarian National Radio, and I mentioned to them, I tell them, listen, I'm going to this program and it sounds very interesting, and said, why don't you get some, make some interviews with people, because that would be interesting also for the Bulgarian listeners and for Turkish listeners, I mean, to anyone, because it's nice to hear what foreigners talk and what they share with others. So I was walking on the way coming here. It was very cold day with some snow and ice on the roads, and I fell down. I had some seconds just sitting and looking at the people over there waiting at the road, and they looked at me, and I said, okay, fine, let's just stand up and keep on going. And I thought it's nothing serious. So I came here, entered the place. I was like, oh, so funny. I mean, people were enjoying themselves. But then I felt bad. Obviously, it was something serious. But I was so determined to talk to people. So I tried to talk to Danilo, and then to one of the speakers, telling them, listen, maybe my hand is broken now, but I'll definitely come later and talk to you. Yeah, and it was broken, actually. And there's another story related to this when I went to the hospital, but first I want to tell you a little about myself. So I was born 40 years ago in a small town at the Razgrad region. Probably not many people know where it is. Of course, Bulgarians know, but especially for men, maybe they know the team, Ludogorets. Yes? So it's where Razgrad is. So I was born in a little town there, and my family is Turkish, so my first language I learned was Turkish. And I would say it was a bit of a homogeneous environment around me. And it took me some time to get to know different people. I mean, even as a language, even I lived in Bulgaria, I was surrounded with people that, you're a part of a minority and this kind of stuff. So, but it was also interesting experience to have, even as a child, the regime when we all were equal, and some people were more equal than us. Yeah, then. So when I finished high school, I always wanted to live in a big city, and in Bulgaria you don't have much options. I mean, how big it could be, because it was more attractive to me to be in a place where there's more cultural life, and you get to know different people from you, and to embrace this, to travel. And I had this chance to study in Istanbul. Of course, the language was easy for me, and maybe that was the first reason to choose it. And another reason is, of course, the city. I'm sure that everybody that was there loved it, I hope. And yes, so I studied the international relations with the only idea I didn't know what to do in my life. But the only thing was that I wanted to travel first. That was the first thing. And the second, that I love books. But there was no such a profession to put it together. So it took me a long time to find out what I really want to do in life. And I did work for several companies, and then a cousin of mine, she worked already for a publishing house, and she said, listen, there is no such a thing as literary agency in this country. And I had no idea what it is. So this is a person that represents rights of authors. And she said, you're not going to get any money from it. But you love it, because we will travel. We will go to different countries. We will visit the book fairs. You're going to meet intellectuals from all around the world. And I said, yes, I don't care about money. Let's do that. And this is how we started. We started, and it was 10 years ago. So now, actually, I have a job that I don't have any, I don't need to be in an office. I could be anywhere, and I can travel anywhere, and plus I can meet people that I like. Not always, most of the time. And yeah, this is my story, but as probably most of you know, things could become harder in some countries for obvious political reasons, and you don't really feel comfortable about being there anymore. So I thought maybe it's just the right time to move somewhere else. But I didn't know where to start with. And this, the feeling of not being a part of any place. I mean, I traveled, but as much as you travel, you totally lose the connection with anywhere, and you want to go somewhere else again and again, to a new place, to rediscover it again and again. And then, okay, I had 1 year of traveling in Europe and waiting for this moment to give me the spark and to say, it's here. Okay, here I stay for longer. It didn't happen. So then one day I had an idea why I don't go back to Bulgaria. For my family, it was like going backwards. You're coming back? And why? Why you don't, just find a new place? I said, no. For me, this is not going backwards. For me, it's also a rediscovering. Because I come from a small place, I don't know much, I was very young, and I was not aware of the best part of it. We all just focus on the negative part of everything. And now when I was back, I found out how people are not aware of the nicest things here. You notice them because you already come from a different place. You look from a different point of view. But there are so many beautiful things to discover in this country. It's all not only about places, but also about the people and the culture and everything. So for me, it's like being reborn and rediscovering all this life. Plus, it's always easy to travel. You can go anywhere. So nobody's just holding you. At least we live in such a world still. So yes, so this is how it started with me. So I came 3 months ago, and I'm so excited about being here. I still quite travel a lot, going to Istanbul and then coming back and then going somewhere else. And what I noticed was that I don't really define myself as a one identity, anytime when I talk to foreigners, if we talk about Bulgaria, I say we Bulgarians. When I speak about Turkish people, again I say we Turkish people. And when it's to the opposite, like Turkish to Bulgarian, Bulgarian to Turkish, then it could be you, it could be me. So it's a bit confusing, but it's also a very nice idea of embracing all this, you know, and you don't limit yourself in such a frame, which is the best part. So the summer I came once, and actually I was traveling to London, and that was a little longer period than I used to stay here before. And I got a ticket from my hometown, and I was traveling I was going to the airport, and I bought the ticket. And when on the way coming here, it just passed the airport. It stopped there, and I asked the driver, "Can you just leave me here?" He said, "No." Why? No, because it's written at the bus station. You're not allowed to do this. So I said, "Do you want me to go there and come back?" He's like, "This is the rule." And I noticed then that it's quite, I mean, it's common, but it's a part of also my identity, myself, that this stubbornness and the rules, if it's given there, you have to follow it. You shouldn't be, you know, flexible. You shouldn't be, you know, just adjust yourself of it, which was very something that I found out again about the mentality here. But when you get to know it and you learn how to deal, then it becomes easier. So the night when I come to the night that I broke my hand, which was actually the first days I came to Sofia. First I thought it like it's maybe it's a sign of you know, yeah. I won't be able to move anywhere. And we went to the hospital. Of course, there was plenty of people because, yeah, many they broke. It seems like a very, very usual stuff. Yes, already, like, even when I speak to people, they say like, "Oh, this is not a problem. You know, I broke 3 times." And all right. So I was at the Pirogov.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Yes, at the hospital. At the hospital, and we waited for quite long for that reason, because there were many people waiting, and I was also very anxious about the what treatment would be, because I don't have any insurance. I'm new, and I need something. I mean, whatever. And the doctor, he said, "Yes, you have a broken wrist. Deal with it. It will take a month." And then he asked me, "Do you have any insurance?" I said, "No." "And why? You're a Bulgarian citizen. I never lived here." And then he said, "Fine, don't pay anything." Like, wow. Seriously? Because I already got prepared myself for the worst. I didn't know what to expect, the treatment and everything. But it was such a nicely surprising thing for me. It was amazing. But then he said, like, in 25 days, just go, and after 25 days, you just remove your cast, and it will be fine. But of course, I wasn't really comfortable about. So I went back to the hospital after when the period finished, and it was another doctor's, but I had the chance actually to see his name at the first, because I didn't know who he is. And maybe it doesn't make sense for foreigners, but I would say his name was Filip Panayotov Hitov. So this guy, probably, I'm not 100% sure, was grandson of one of the big leaders, Bulgarian leaders for the independence of Bulgaria from the Ottoman Empire, from us. So it was really like such a nice, surprising thing for me.
The second sign.
Yeah, and I called my father and told him it's such a nice story because normally they don't do it. That doctors, nowhere they don't do it. Yeah, so it was another sign maybe for me to decide that nice things are happening everywhere, and I'm really pleased to be part of all this. And another story, I go a lot to the cafe at NDK Perotto. For a job, to meet writers, to attend the events, but also to spend some time there. And there was one day when they had an event, and it was a closed event, obviously, and they asked me to leave. And I asked the man at the bar, what is it about? And he said, wow, it's again something about minorities. I hate this, you know, they always just, they care about the minorities. What would happen to majorities? And I told him, oh, listen, but I'm also part of it. I'm sorry about what you feel, but, and it became a real joke between us, because each time when I go and ask him, like, and how is the majority today? Do you feel okay? How can we, just talk to each other? So yeah, this was the most maybe memories that I remember now. I don't have much yet for the 3 months I've had, but I can tell you that I really enjoy the environment here, and as I told you, there is always something to rediscover, and it's all about, for me, it's all about how to handle the situation. Even when it's negative, people like to complain, but complaining doesn't change anything. So when you embrace a culture and the place, it becomes so beautiful. Thank you very much.